Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Boring Show. My name is Matt.
And I'm Craig.
And today, what are we going to do today?
Well, I think we're adding a nav-bar to the DashCast app.
Okay, so we're going to resurrect our DashCast app, which we use infrequently, but it's coming along nicely. And the DashCast app is a podcast playing app. And at the moment, as you can see on my laptop, it's hooked up to the It's All Widgets podcast, and it's pulling down the RSS or Atom feed for it, and we can navigate in and we can play. I'm not going to subject you to my laptop audio, but the one thing we can't. And we have an error. And you know why we have an error? Is because I haven't updated the sound plugin for a while, so I'll be doing that later at some point. Nicely enough, VS Studio caught that, so let's just keep going.
But it's kind of less a podcast app and really more of a It's All Widgets app.
It is currently an It's All Widgets app, and this app is actually all widgets as well, so meta.
Yeah,
there we go.
Indeed.
That's my one widget joke of the day. But what we don't have is the ability to select multiple podcasts. And I guess before we do that, we're going to need to be able to navigate between the screens.
We are.
Okay.
Yep.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to create probably a dummy screen where we're going to be able to select podcasts, but we're going to implement
a custom nav bar.
A custom, not just any old nav bar, not your default out of the box nav bar.
No.
We're going to implement nav bar with extra nav.
Yeah, we scoured Dribble and wanted to find something that offered an experience that was not just the off-the-shelf nav bar. So you're going to get to see us stumble through recreating.
Yes.
Shall we reveal? So we're going to try to have this little sonar pulse beacon style effect. And then we're not going to be splitting the icons like that. We'll just maybe pulse the icon as well. We may also only have two icons, but all the same really. And that's what we're going to hopefully build.
Okay, so we're going to play with some navbar stuff. We're going to play with a little bit with animations, I guess.
Yeah.
And we're going to see where we get to in the next 45 minutes or so. So let's ignore all these to-dos in the code. And I am just going to Control K and 0, which is a handy way of dropping all these down. And so, Craig, where do we start with this?
Well,
what's the first thing we do?
Yeah, great question. So we'll need to have at some top level scaffold, obviously a nav bar, and we can still put a custom widget in the bottom nav bar spot. It doesn't have to be one of the official bottom nav bars. You can just put a row in that spot. So wherever the top level scaffold is, and you're obviously more familiar with this code, are we all in one file still, more or less?
We are all in one file because, refactoring, it's a thing. It should be done. It will be done at some point. So it's been about 2 months since I looked at this code, so thanks for putting me on the spot. But pretty much we have an episodes page, which is obviously what we're showing here.
Okay.
We have our player page. So I'm guessing in my app, currently in my app, we have a material app and an episodes page, and the episodes page probably has, it's super simple. So I'm guessing somewhere in between, we want to be sticking I guess it's a stateful widget, because we're going to want to track.
Yes, definitely. So I think we'll want to keep it in the same scaffold as opposed to swapping out the route specifically, because if we keep it in the scaffold, then the nav bar will stay in place and won't get torn down and rebuilt.
That's very true.
So my vote would be that the episode page actually maybe become just the body element of this same scaffold. And then our bottom nav bar can swap between two different pages.
Okay. So what we can do is we can start by creating a stateful widget. And we're going to call this, naming is hard.
What are you going for?
The
nav bar?
It's going to be it's going to have our scaffold in it, and we're going to spend 15 minutes working out what to call it.
Right.
So it's going to call, let's see. So this is my app. I'm going to call this my page just to start with.
Love it.
We can rename it later. I am on the ball today. And so what we have here now is we have There we go. This, and what we're going to want to do, I guess, is in here, we're going to want a scaffold.
Yes.
And inside our scaffold, we're going to want to put a body. And our body is going to be the episodes page, like that. And then down here, I guess we're just going to be...
Just, remove that widget.
Is there a remove in there?
Extract. Honestly,
Sometimes
I've never removed a wrapper automagically.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. My lameness with that. So I've got this. This closes.
I think 111 needs to go, and then
like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there we go. Oh, look at that. No material widget found.
Nice. We need to actually use my page on line 80.
On line 80, we need to actually use my page. I like the way you're even calling out line numbers. I just have to go, tell me what to type, Craig. I shall do it in my very boring typing way. That's my boring voice. Do you like my boring voice? Father Ted reference. Anyway.
We're back.
We're back.
To where we started.
Yes, we are. This is great. But now we have state.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So we got our scaffold. And typically when I'm doing a nav bar, there's a thing in here, right?
Yeah. So that should be bottom nav bar, something like that. Yep.
Yep.
Navigation, yeah. It was helping us. Listen to it,
bar,
not me.
Navigation bar, here we go. Okay.
Navigation. We need an A after the G.
Navigation.
Nice. Okay. So here we can put, I guess we can just start with a container. It'll be a widget, actually. Yeah. So forget the container. Let's just go straight to our, what do we want to call it? Beacon navbar.
Okay. Now my bottom navbar is actually eating the entire screen, so maybe I need to give this, if I give this a height, that'll sort that out, right? Yes.
Oh, it defaults to all the height?
I didn't know that.
Me either.
And let's just make sure that this is correct. Colors dot amber. Great. Okay, because everyone. Okay, so there we go. So there's our bottom navbar.
Dino DNA
in place. That's great. Best navbar ever.
Yep. Okay. So ultimately, we'll take that container out, put it in its own again stateful widget. Or actually, it might be able to be. No, it's gonna have to have the animation, so it'll be stateful.
Oh, so we're already thinking ahead to the animation. Okay. Yeah. So you want me to create another stateful widget? Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. So let's get busy with that. I'm going to create a stateful widget. This one's going to be easy. It's going to be my navbar.
Nice.
Is that good?
I love it.
Okay, great. I'm on fire.
Really good.
I keep doing that. I don't know why.
Yeah, you're figuring out how to have the auto formatter, which is so good, be so bad.
Yes. How not to use the auto formatter. And so then we're going to move basically just to keep what we have at the moment. This in here.
Nice.
And then this goes bye-bye and becomes my navbar.
Nice. Yep.
Instance.
So my page needs to, very standard, keep track of the active index of which page it's showing. So
let's collapse these down again just so we can see what we're
my
at.
page state 91, right?
So for people who like Visual Studio Code, Command K0, Command KJ opens everything. I believe Command KJ. Yep, there we go. And the way I usually do these things, especially when I got a bunch of widgets, I do Command K0, and then if you shift and click on one of the arrows, it'll expand everything underneath it. Handy tip for Visual Studio Code folk, and I'm sure Android Studio has the equivalent.
I broke it on mine somehow.
Okay, fortunately we're not recording his screen, so you only see my inabilities to type my page. Okay, so we want to place specifically probably in the state, and you said we want to track the index.
That's how I would start, yeah.
So that's going to be stateful. So we're going to have int, well, what we can do is we can actually have var nav index, start at 0 maybe.
Yep. Seems logical to put the default page on the left for our for us LTRs.
Okay. So now we have some state. We don't need to initialize anything. That's okay.
Yep.
So if we were to, what do we do next?
Well, so now we need to keep a list of, I would say, our pages and then correspondingly our icons that we want to use. So really, we'll then take line 97 extract episodes page, and we'll make that the 0th index in our new pages list.
Okay. So as an aside real quick, why we should probably have a, if we're going to have 2 pages, we'll just call this dummy page.
Yes, love it.
And we're going to make this my
Center,
favorite ever.
Yep, center text,
child
dummy page.
text. We're on the same page, Craig. And now we've just ruined the audio, and the producers are going to shout at us for banging on the desk. But oh well, that's fine. Dummy page, and you know, folk, don't forget to const things when you can const things, just because that's, you know, good to do. At least I think so. Okay, so now we have a dummy page.
Perfect.
We don't need to worry about that. Let's get rid of that.
So below line 92, we can make a new list.
So here we can make a, and this is probably going to be a final, but that's fine.
Yep.
Final
Pages.
pages. Thank you. This is going to be a list.
Yep.
It's probably going to be of type widget, but
I
that's
think
probably
widget
going
is-
to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be inferred. I kind of. Some people say you should put this in. Some people say don't.
I just like to wear out keyboards, so I normally type it.
I like extra verbose.
Yeah.
And ordinarily it will infer it, but if you have specific subtypes of widgets, sometimes it can actually get a little confusing. So let's leave it at that for the moment. Let's do things proper.
So episodes page will be in slot numero uno.
So we have episodes page.
Yep, and then dummy page.
There's another thing that I've started to do, which I'm going to do an aside to, which is you can do things like, let's see if I can do this correctly here. Let's X this out for the moment. You can do list dot unmodifiable. Because this is never going to change.
It sure
And for
isn't.
this, it's kind of overkill, but you know, people should know about these things. And in here, we have to give it an iterable. And usually with this, I definitely type it.
Oh, that's where we put it. Okay. Yeah.
Do we put it there?
Does it go
Is
after list?
modifiable?
It seems
Oh,
like it would still go after.
Where does it go? I always forget.
Oh,
which
maybe
one of these things.
maybe
There we go.
Great.
So now we have an unmodifiable list, which again,
It's shan't change.
yes, great if you've got a massive list which doesn't change. Not so useful
Or
here.
unruly pages that want to muck with the master list.
That's true. This is also final. But even though it's final, you can still modify the internals
true.
of a list
You
when
can
it's final.
append.
So,
Yep.
so he's right.
So now on line 102, we can swap out episodes pages for pages at the nav index.
Oh.
Index.
So we only have 2. So let's be optimal. We can do nav index is 0.
Well, now we're really calling into question the list in the first place.
Oh yeah. Whoops. That's
It's
true.
okay.
Well, there we go. We'll be adding more pages. Let's actually use it. So it would be basically actually all we need to do is pages
Sub nav index, yeah.
nav index.
Nice.
Oh, I'm glad one of us has had enough coffee this morning. We're recording this extra early. Well, after 9 o'clock. Feels extra early to me.
I'm a morning person. It's fine.
I'm not. Just tell me what more to type, Craig. I got more coffee to drink.
Here, let's do some marionette action
I keep
here.
looking at my watch, but I put it on like silent mode, so this is completely pointless.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're in a great spot so
Okay,
far.
so let's save.
Yeah, if we refresh.
We're probably gonna have to refresh because we have we mucked about with state a little bit. Let's just do it just in
we
case.
sure have.
So of course, nothing's gonna. Oh yes,
Nothing
this is
changed.
being loaded over the network because reasons. So now we have that in place, but we don't have any way of messing about with our state.
Now it starts.
So now it starts. So we're showing this. So I guess we're going to be playing with my navbar.
So this will need to accept. I would probably define this at the widget level.
Okay.
I think we'll want to pass in which icons we use.
So we're going to want to pass in which icons we use. So we're going to have some icons defined here, yeah?
Yes. So
Final.
And I have had luck in the past passing in actually icon data.
Oh, so you just want to pass in like final So
Yeah, we can call it
like,
even. We could call it icon data. Call it just icons, but it's actually icon data.
Do you want to pass in a list, or do you want to have them individually specified?
I think a list will be nice because then we can most easily pair that with our index of pages.
Okay, so we're going to call this icon list.
I love it. And the reason that I like to do icon data in this moment is for an active navbar, for a navbar, maybe we want it to manage some active state. We already know that we're committed to some animations, so it might be kind of changing around the color of individual icons as the user clicks around. And if we just pass in a full widget, then that becomes more complicated.
Hey, Craig, we're going to have to decide what icons we're using. Do you know what my favorite icon is? Now, if Emily was here, Emily would know this because I've made this joke before. Because if nothing else, I'm repetitious. There is icons.hotTub.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, I knew.
It's hot tub, man.
Yeah.
That's staying there until we come up with a better one. You get to choose another icon.
The time machine icon.
Is there a time machine?
I don't think so, but that was just a really bad movie.
Oh,
time lapse, perfect.
Does it show the icons it used to? Oh, it might do. Hang on. Okay, we'll go time lapse. There we go. Two highly relevant icons
super
for
appropriate.
this. And I'm going to do this just to. Oh, that looks much nicer.
Yeah.
So now, and why did you put the icons in the widget rather than the state?
Oh, sorry. I misspoke. Yeah, so I think we want to define the variable, but we'll let the top level, what did we call it? My page widget. It should define them where it defines the actual pages, where it defines episode and dummy page. It should also define these and then just pass them in.
Okay. That's cool. I was actually, I thought this was a really good idea that you put them here. So I was just prompting you to explain. But you've decided to refactor, which is better. So let's go back to what you were saying. So we have final pages. You think our icon list should also be here?
I think so, yeah.
Would we put that in the state? It's not really state. It's more widgety. So.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I hadn't actually really noticed that in line 88, I think.
Would never put it here because it'd be in my page.
Yeah, and
because in fact,
I guess I don't really have a strong opinion about it being in my page or my page state.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, I can see, but then pages should also live up here, and
right? They should be together.
They should be together. You know what? I'm going to keep this clean. Some people may prefer to keep them all here, but at least when I look at state, I have everything in one widget.
Yes, I think this is pretty good. I think this is good.
When I do stuff like this, I can just catch it. Okay, and then what we're going to do is you're thinking that when we create the navbar, we're going to...
so it'll basically still have that variable just undefined. And then the constructor will accept values.
Yeah. So this is going to be basically a...
I think we can essentially, yes. And then we still want the final.
Yeah, we still...
Oh, wait, no, we don't.
We do because it's in a widget.
Oh, we're not in the state. Yes, we do.
Nice. So we're going to pass that in, and then, again, I can make this const, I bet, at the moment. And we're going to do this, and then
this
we're going
icon
to
list.
have this dot icon list. For some strange reason, I keep trying to write Python when I write Dart. I don't know why, so I'm glad you corrected me, because sometimes I can't work out. Self.
Yeah.
What? What are you doing?
I'm also from a decade of Python, and
let's just write
do all the things wrong.
Just write the whole thing in Python. It'll be fine. Python is a new language for Flutter. Python 4, the new language for Flutter.
Oh.
I'll stop now.
Then be fighting words.
So we now have...
and maybe required on that as well.
Okay.
Because this shan't work.
Okay, you know what?
Icons.
We can do required. And that is going to mean that...
and we're just already getting a handy indicator on line 108 that we have yet to wire these through.
And if you really want to be, assertive, see what I did there? You can assert
that they are not none.
Icon list is not equal to null.
Nice.
By the way, we've been working on null safety in Dart. So stuff like this will actually get a bunch easier as we continue to work on that. So that's something to look forward to. So we've and broke everything. That's fine because this is null. So
Largely
clearly,
expected. Yep. You just wrote the code, then made a break.
and then I need to put in, you know what?
Icon list. Oh, you're rowdy.
Just because, it is just icons.
It's real rowdy.
Icons is going to be widget.
Dot
No,
icon.
I didn't put it in widget.
Oh, right.
Icon list, which I could rename as icons, but we'll be here all day if I start renaming things. Work! Yay!
Nice.
Okay, so now we have our icons passed into our navbar. Navbar is being a little more reusable, which is nice. And we are now at a point where I guess we're going to want to start to use as icons.
I think so.
So inside my container, which I'm going to leave at height 50 for the moment.
Yeah. Ideally, we'd even expose that as a variable so that the height of our navbar could be passed in. But we can leave that maybe as an exercise to the imagination of the reader.
Yes, or an exercise in actually writing code. You don't have to write code in your imagination. But
we've got to get into the navbar here.
If you want to build navbars in your imagination, then go ahead. Put it in Dribble. We'll try to implement it. So we are going to do blah, 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 blah. Colors, whatever. Let's leave that.
So I think it's time for a child, and a row should suffice.
Okay. Rows need children.
They do.
Because otherwise a row is sad. And our children here in this case is probably going to be, we're going to have 2 icons, right?
Yes. So we could, ultimately, we can't define them literally, right? Because we've accepted a list. So we kind of need to map over our list of icon data, wrapping each one in an icon.
So we need to widgetize them.
Indeed.
Which means we need to do this. And then it's going to be...
But I'm saying that whatever you write in this pattern will not be conducive to dynamic amounts of tabs.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm not sure I'm answering your question, but we can do, it's too early. We are going to do list interpolation? No. You know the thing where you put the for?
In Python, I would call it a list comprehension.
Yes, we're going to do Pythonic list comprehension in Dart, because welcome to the Boring Python show. Python's not boring. What we can do here is we can do for I equals 0, I less, this is totally for, for I in X range 2.
Right,
there you go. Although here X range isn't a thing anymore, it's just range.
No, it's just range. They're all now generators.
Yes, everything is a generator of Python. Let's stop talking about Python.
So icons
focus.
Stay on target.
Icons
Stay on target.
Well done. We'll get an Admiral Akbar joke in a second. Look at the board. And we're going to do this. And this is
widget.icons.
Widget.icons. Okay, this is good. Widget.icons. And then in here, all we have to do is we do icon. Icons.
Widget.icons. But then yes.
And of course.
Nice. Now, all of this going around the block to get next door is just going to allow us to, down the road, maybe optionally add some style if it's active.
Well, let's see if it renders first.
That would be exciting.
Okay, this is great. Now, what's the easiest way to make our icons space correctly?
Well, I think space evenly on the main axis alignment value or attribute.
Main axis alignment dot space around, space evenly.
I think space evenly is going to work well for us. That looks
looks
like an navbar to me.
That looks really nice. This looks like it doesn't do anything, but we have a navbar.
We have
the greatest icon in the world.
We have a hot tub time
machine. We have
machine.
the second greatest icon in the world. In fact, I could have probably just done for var icon in icons, right? I mean, there's no need to be writing C here. That would work, right?
The cool kids tell me C is really fast. So there's that.
Really fast. And this would be...
I don't think I've really written... No, maybe I have. I don't know.
So there we go. This is some nice list. I wish I could remember what it was called.
We're still comprehending the list.
Yeah, yes, this list is very comprehensive. Now, notice that this is a bit borked because This is, if you take a look at our pub spec, it's probably an old version here. So if we updated this to 2.6 maybe.
Whoa, that is a heck of an update.
There we go. And such
a unused, yeah.
There we go.
Wait, how did that even work? We didn't have I anymore.
It didn't.
Oh, it wasn't rebuilding.
It wasn't rebuilding. Let's go back to our debug console. This is
great.
all reloaded. Now, you want to get stylish?
Oh, yeah.
Get stylish. Yeah. Can't get more stylish than a hot tub. What are we going to do?
Well,
Interactivity or stylishness?
I think interactivity is probably going to be the most valuable.
Yep. So that's not. This is stateful because we want to add animations later. So we're not going to put it here. It's going to be here, right?
What's the it?
So this, when we click on one of these, so that is going to be here. So when we click on one, we want it to update the nav index.
Indeed.
Now,
So we'll need a
because
handler.
our icons are here, that means we're going to have to pass this back up.
Indeed.
Okay. So we are going to...
That's important, though, because this allows the parent class to potentially drive navigation.
Yes. Okay. So we are going to want to we're going to pass in a callback function which takes an integer, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to have to remember what the syntax for that is. It's going to be required.
It is required.
It's going to be this dot...
we can call it on... Where are we right now? Oh, yeah. So on pressed, on tap.
It's going to be an on pressed that we... well, it's going to return an int. So on nav event. Oh my God. No, we don't call them events. I'm going to call on pressed because Craig's totally thought about this more than I am. Final.
I'm just taking inspiration from the gesture detector function, yes. And
Is it
then,
like
no,
this?
parens. We basically just give it a little dummy
Int.
function signature, yes.
And we're going to call this
On pressed.
pressed. Okay.
Nice.
So we now have a function. Then up here, we're going to want to pass in a...
On pressed.
Well, for the moment, what we can do is we do on pressed, and it's going to take this, and it's going to do something.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
We can inline this.
So we can leave that there for the moment while we work on the other pieces. Or actually, no, well, we could just finish it up. This is actually going to be
Just set state.
set state,
Mm-hmm.
and this is going to take another function.
Mm-hmm.
We can use arrow notation, and this is going to be
Arrows all the way down.
index equals
Nav index.
nav index. Thank you. Nav index. All right, so now
Really good.
this is looking better.
There's another thing we need to do.
What's that?
We need to pass nav index to the nav bar.
We need to pass nav index to the nav bar.
We're going to need to do that. Because it may want to know, it will want to know, which one's active.
Okay, which means then that this is going to, so when this gets updated, this is going to redraw these, okay? Required.
Current index. Could go
This
active
dot,
index.
This dot active index.
Love it.
And then down here, we're going to need final int active index. And we could do the asserts along there. We won't worry about it at the time being. We're good.
All right, so let's make this feel real.
Okay. What do you mean? This is like...
Let's make the icon that's active yellow.
Okay, icon that's active yellow. Okay, so this isn't necessarily going to work anymore. Oh, actually...
Yeah, the for loop that you had originally is looking real good right now.
Yeah, it's just that we can't use curly braces in these for loops.
We could just do widget.icons.map and return. Oh no, we need to do fanciness for the index as well.
We should icons.map. Well, basically, we just need to know icon. Oh, you are right. Okay, so let's do what you say. Var I is 0, I less than widget dot
icons
dot length.
Yep.
I plus plus.
Perfect. Nice.
And then what we can do here,
Back to widget
let's just drop
icons.
this down.
Detail I. Yeah.
And then we have icons I,
Widget dot icons.
widget dot icons I, and then what we could do here is we go color,
Yes.
and we can do
Ternary.
I is equal to
Yep.
active index,
Is it widget dot active index?
widget dot
Singular.
active index.
Colors
Colors
dot
dot
something.
yellow.
Yep. Or
and then
black.
Colors.
And we need it.
Black's a little harsh, so maybe we could do something like black. Is that the way you do?
I think what you're
wait.
going for has no brackets.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we just need a colon after yellow instead of a comma. Nice. And what is it now like? Oh, I don't think it knows black 57. You can also still do the brackets and just give it 400 or
That's true. There we go. Black 54.
or high numbers later. 700. Oh, 54. Great. Okay.
So now the question is this still hooked up?
Unknown. I thought we'd have yellow already.
But we would have yellow. But are we? So let's double
We
check
don't
and
have
see
yellow.
what's happening. This is not passing in the active index.
It's important.
Active index 0.
No,
Active index.
it's the nav index. Widget dot. Or no, it's right there. Nice. Ooh.
Oh, good.
Okay.
My
hindsight,
my retinas are burning out.
yellow is a bad idea.
Actually, well, no, yellow's
Abort.
good, but we could do yellow 700.
Much better.
Yellow 700. Okay, that's a little easier in the eyes.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a thing
It's pretty good.
that we did.
Pretty good. Hey, whoa, click one.
Click one.
Click it.
This isn't going to work, is it?
Why wouldn't it work?
Because we don't have any.
Oh, we didn't do the
on
on-tap.
tap yet. You're getting ahead of yourself.
I know.
You're like, click it. Okay.
I was excited.
Much disappointment. So sad.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we now need a gesture detector around each of the icons, right?
Yep.
Why don't we use an icon button?
Let's do it.
I'm just wondering with the animations later, is that going to be?
Oh,
roll it
yeah.
back?
In the past, when I've done this thing, I have maybe unwisely not used an icon button. This is not an official recommendation.
So I'm going to use an icon button then just because
for education.
We can always roll it back, but an icon button
And that takes
an
a full
icon.
icon, so we have to wrap it, yeah.
So we're going to do this.
Which Emily recently observed was maybe a little redundant.
And that's fine. And it's going to be grayed out because we don't have an unpressed, so they're inactive.
Well, and because the color needs to now go in the icon. We've got color on the icon button, which I don't actually know what it's doing.
Well, let's find out. Because when we do unpressed, and even if we just give it like a blank thing.
Or we can just pass in straight.
Works.
Oh, because it was inactive.
Yeah, because it was inactive.
Right. But now we can pass in unpressed. Widget on unpressed, right?
Yeah, but widget on unpressed takes
Yes. Good call.
a jobby, and by jobby I mean an integer.
It's the technical term for job.
And widget is not spelled like that. Widget. There we go.
And then we pass in I.
Unpressed, we're passing in active to unpressed I. I'll take your word for it. Okay, so now we should, when we click the button, it should pass the thing back out. It should set the state for our nav bar, and then it should. Ooh. If I had a mic, I would drop it. And again, I don't want to upset the producers by dropping expensive audio equipment, which I would then have to pay for. So, okay, so like this is now a functional nav bar. This is kind of cool.
Totally custom. You can be as clever. You know, every time that we opted to not be clever and not use cool design, you could.
Yep. So
Any nav bar you see in any cool app, you could go about implementing it in this way.
Because when using icons, we could use anything here. We could be using custom painters and do crazy stuff. Now,
Spoiler alert.
that being said, I guess we're getting on for time here. So why don't we start to dive into customizing it a little further? Yeah. Some animationsy stuff, maybe.
Yeah, sounds good.
Now you're probably more on the animation side than I am, so
I'm happy to drive.
Do you want to switch around?
Yeah.
Or do you want to? Okay.
Pull one of the magic teleport swaps.
Okay. So we're gonna screen's gonna go all wavy and stuff,
No, we teleport.
We teleport, right? Okay. You know they're gonna leave all this in, right?
Yeah. Okay. First order of business. I was raised on Sublime Text. That's just how my mama raised me.
He's gonna reconfigure my key bindings.
But it's already there. Oh yeah, we just click on this, we enable, and then it didn't have to restart apparently. So is this nice? Okay.
That seems like nicer key bindings, actually. I must look into that. So you're in the driver's seat.
In the driver's seat.
Make things animated.
Oh God. All right, we're gonna make them animated. So the first thing that we'll want to do is, I think, wrap each icon button in a custom painter. And the exciting thing here is that I have next to me the custom painter video guy.
Did I make a video about custom painting?
Yeah, because I watched it last night. It's homework.
Oh, good. So you know more about it than I do then.
No, because you did the video. So the record shows that you know all the information.
So what is a custom painter going to give us?
The custom painter, so let's talk in high level. If we go back to the inspiration, there's this kind of pulsing circle.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So the first animation we could do is actually just pulse the icon itself, just kind of its size.
Do we need a custom painter for that?
For the size, I would think not.
Okay.
I have thought a bit more about the custom painter. And what I propose we do is have a circle with the old canvas.draw circle in the custom painter. And we'll animate out its radius. And then we'll be clever with its stroke width. So as it's growing to start, we'll have its stroke width sufficient so that it's a filled circle. And then at a certain breakpoint, we'll have the stroke width catch up. And so the circle will expand and then seem to shrink. And maybe we'll get lucky and we'll have this kind of bubble popping, bursting effect.
That sounds amazing. You have put some thought into this.
It's a bit of a Hail Mary.
Okay. So are we going to start with the custom painter or are we going to start with the pulsing?
Well, how much time do we have?
Let's see. Somebody hold up their fingers and we have 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. We've got all the time in the world.
We can do so many things.
I know.
So much time for activities.
I know. So much time for coffee.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll let you pick on what you think we should start with. Should we just do the painter?
You know what, the growing in size and whatnot is kind of cool, but that's just a basic animation on size that you would forward and reverse.
Yep.
And you could use a nice curve to make it shift in and out. But we don't do too much with custom painters, so your Hail Mary is going to turn into a reality as you implement a... So custom painter is a painter which sits into, what's the name of the widget again? So you have the custom.
It has like a canvas inside that it draws on.
But you have a widget which you give the painter to. Or is the custom painter the widget?
I think custom painter is the widget,
and then you implement a custom paint.
Yes.
Right.
So let's just roll up our sleeves. Get a little paint under our fingernails, huh?
Oh, I saw what you did there. That's clever.
So we'll have a custom painter.
He makes jokes.
And it's already trying to be helpful. But we can make this the child.
Yep.
Which it doesn't like already, so we're off to a great start.
So it doesn't like custom painter.
Yeah, what am I doing wrong here? The painter will repaint whenever abstract classes can't be. What?
Oh, you see, is it custom paint is the widget?
Oh, it is! Yeah, no, it totally is. Nice.
I do remember something from making that video.
And now this needs a Painter,
which is going to be
which is the custom painter
that you extend.
Yes.
Inheritance.
So
is
this
wonderful.
will be the beacon painter.
Okay, beacon painter. That's a good name.
And now we owe it a beacon painter.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be class beacon paint. I really love your O key there. Painter extends custom painter.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Now, is there a way for it to do the things for me?
If you right click.
Okay, I'll have.
Or actually, if you.
Oh, this one? Is this
I think it's command.
Oh, wait, here it is. What
There you go. There you go. Okay, we're good. Okay. So we have like should repaint.
Yeah. So this is just like true because I don't have sufficient respect for the CPU. So just draw.
Also, whenever we draw it, it's probably going to be animating, which means we always want to redraw it.
Indeed, that's true.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't do this naively. Think that through.
So
like we're not doing.
The custom painter
Yes.
is going to first draw. So another thing that we kind of have to figure out here is that this needs to draw when we change the nav. So that's already our first first trick.
So the first time it draws, we could just draw nothing, right?
Yes, I think
so. That would make it transparent.
Yes, we'll start with nothing.
Okay.
So
we're done. We have a painter which draws nothing.
You just can't click anything. So there's a. I'll be curious to see if you endorse this same method.
Okay.
But we have a tool in our tool belt called widget did. Oh. Help me out, autocomplete. Did update widget. What's it called? Flutter did update. Oh, that's it.
It did update widget. Sometimes.
Why no like?
Sometimes it just gets confused.
So then this is going to be our.
And this takes a.
It's the old widget.
The old widget. So it's going to be my navbar state.
Navbar state.
Or main navbar state.
Main navbar state. And that's the old widget.
Now, why doesn't it like the override?
Oh, I wonder if it doesn't like yet because we're not calling super.
I think we may have our signature wrong for the did update widget.
Let's go back to filter did update widget. Did update widget.
So are you putting in the state class or the? Because I occasionally put.
It might be the.
Let's call super protected.
Let's try just navbar.
No, did update widget.
Is that what you're thinking? That it might not be the state, it might be this? Oh, it is.
You're right.
Nice.
Yes. No. Clever.
Okay, so what we can do here is we'll say if our old widget dot active index does not equal the current widget dot active index, then we call
really
some sort of start animation.
So as soon as we change it, the animation is going to kick off. That's really clever. So you don't have to tie it into like your gesture detectors and go this, that, and the other.
Right. So now we need some state here that is the radius of our bubble, because this needs to start growing.
So we've got a height of 50 hard-coded for the height of our bar.
All right, so we'll remember, you'd want to pass that through so it's customizable as well. But for now, we'll do something else.
Okay.
So we can say in our state, we'll have a double that is the bubble radius.
Bubble radius. Okay.
And then override, void init state. You don't realize how often you...
you know, that should autocomplete. If you just type init. State. How do I get that to autocomplete?
I wonder if...
Sometimes I can get it autocomplete. It should autocomplete.
Yeah. I see it on mine.
I think the laptop knows that I'm not typing, so the laptop is being obstinate and is going, who's this? I'm not going to autocomplete.
Never you.
Bubble radius is 0. Okay.
0. I suppose I actually could have just put that right here. Equals 0.
This is fine. It's all good.
All right, so now we're going to start our animation.
Are you a fan of using underscores for internally or no?
You know, I see that you all do that, and I think that's better. and then I just keep not changing.
I'm just curious, because these things really don't get called elsewhere. It's not critical, but I'm a bit pedantic. I am like the Dart analyzer. I can be pedantic. Dart analyzer joke.
Ooh, that's you gotta stretch. You gotta warm up before you stretch that hard.
Also, Python uses underscores for private things, but
does.
this is not the boring Python show.
Though,
or underscore to make it extra private.
The dunder, yeah. So we need a controller. So we'll create ourselves a little animation controller.
Okay, so we're basically putting in a bunch of support to get animations going. Fundamentals of whenever you're doing animation, unless they're implicit, is you're usually putting a controller somewhere, so you can you need to give your controller.
Oh, this is like not even close to real code, you know. Okay, so now this needs a duration. So again, you'd probably want to expose this as a customization point, but we'll just kind of cheat for now. I don't know, 300 milliseconds?
Sure. Sounds good.
And that's all this takes, right?
Oh, I was looking for ways. Oh, because we haven't used of. If you scroll down to the bottom,
duration.
There's all things.
Oh, vsync. Yeah.
So we need to make this ticker type bar ticker single ticker
with single ticker provider.
Or that.
And then, ticker type. What is that? Another thing that I don't know about?
No, it was me forgetting single ticker provider state mixin because that just rolls off the tongue. Single ticker provider state mixin. Wow. Okay.
Vsync. Oh, you don't give the vsync to the duration. Turns out.
Nope.
Which is weird. We figured out duration. Come on, be a team player. Okay, still doesn't like us. Why?
Let's see.
It's not auto formatting. I'm definitely missing something here. I seem to have eaten the opening curly. Would not recommend.
Okay.
All right. So we have our controller, and it knows that it's going to do stuff for 300 milliseconds.
Yep.
It doesn't know what that stuff is yet. Start animation.
This is where we're going to do stuff.
Can do stuff.
Okay.
So start animation. Do we want to?
So we're going to want like a tween or an animation.
Yeah, we could give
a
curve. So if we do a curved animation.
Yeah, I like that.
Then we can give the parent of our controller.
Yep.
And the curve, we'll just leave it at like linear for now. So this is basically just a pass through. Curves. For F's sake. But we know where to change our, and I guess this can be final. We know where to change our curve later if we want to tinker with it. Okay, so now we start the animation. So that is animation dot. What do you do again?
Start it with the controller. Controller dot.
Well, because we're using the curve now.
So
we want to do the thing that ends in like animate on curve, right? And then even before that, we have the beginning or like start or whatever it is, 0.
Oh, so we create
one.
a new.
What's that thing called again? Is it just an animation? It's something.
And then we have to do dot animate.
But I'm doing something wrong. It's not called animate. It's not called animation. What is it?
So we have the animation controller, and then we have. I always get this.
Emily, save us!
There we go.
Oh, we didn't give it a. Is it just we didn't give it a double type? Oh no, it's so much more mad.
No, but we already have created the curve is the animation, right? And it knows the parent is the controller. So don't we start the controller now because it has the animation, and then we give it a begin and end?
Yeah. So I think that's what I'm trying to do on this line, but. Well,
it comes from the dot. You know what? Cookbook.
Yeah.
Flutter Cookbook. When in doubt, go read what Brian Egan wrote in the Flutter Cookbook, since he wrote most of them. Thank you, Brian.
Save us.
And there is an animations.
Do we know, are any of these going to be like the most verbose? Because we're not using any implicit
So he's creating,
stuff.
there we go. So, so you see the tween is an...
He does this differently than I do. Oh, the tween is the begin and end, right. So here we say tween of double, and it's begin, not start. And it's underscore curve, not curve. we really weren't very close.
Yes, because we want the numbers to go between, and we didn't.
Okay, so we are now, and we'll add a listener.
Oh, and you're adding a listener, okay.
So this is going to expand our bubble. So we can set state. Oh, we need to know what our maximum bubble size is. So we'll need to have like
Or can't we just take the 0 to 1 and then...
We'll have to map it as a percentage of some maximum, right?
Yes. Okay.
And then here, again, you'd probably expose it, but
That's fine.
we only had 20 minutes several minutes ago.
And that's final, because we're never going to change that. Oh, but if we pass it in, ultimately, well.
Yeah, true. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd get it even from the widget above, all that good stuff. So now I think we can kind of do the old set state. Thanks there, formatter. You're a real pal. So here we say that our bubble radius equals the max bubble radius times the curve dot value.
And curve dot value is going from 0 to 1.
Yep. In a linear fashion. This is equivalent to, currently, it is equivalent to if we had never defined this silly curve and just used controller in these spots. But now, since we've defined the curve, later we can swap out curves.linear for ease in, any kind of crazy thing.
Cool. Okay, so now at this point, when we click, we're going to have this animation running, but it's not driving anything.
It's not driving anything yet. But we can give it to our beacon painter, and then it can know what
Will
to do.
be, every time then when set state is called, it's going to rebuild beacon painter.
Yep. At least that's the hope.
Okay.
So the beacon
That's
painter
good.
is going to take a double, which is going to be final. And this is a beacon radius. I suppose we could have just gone this radius, really. Yeah. Well, we're done.
I think you've probably got about 5 minutes left, so.
So we can't waste
worry about
time. Beacon radius. All right. So now we have to do some painting.
Now it comes to the hard part. We got all the animation stuff in place. Now we're going to paint a circle.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so
and it's going to be in the
it's
center,
canvas dot draw circle with an offset of, we're going to have to calculate a lot of things. But for now, we'll just do 0, 0, and then we'll calculate it later.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
Well, I know what's going to happen.
It's going to be in the wrong spot.
It's going to be in the wrong spot.
Double radius. So that is, of course, our beacon radius. And what's the last thing we take is a paint. So, and here we can make the color be equal to colors dot.
This is where you're also going to set your colors dot.
Blue.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought of a color.
You're making me make choices.
Okay,
Decisions.
so we're going to draw the thingamajig.
Yep.
Now, another thing. Let's pull the paint out because I think it's going to just be a little bit
Because you're going to want to, with the paint, you're going to want to start to do stroke at some point, right?
Yes. Thank you for remembering. Okay, so we're going to also have to calculate some stroke width here. And this is going to be final paint. Okay, so what we had talked about was until some percentage of the animation, let's go with 50, then the stroke width should be enough to cover the entire circle. So
we know the max size, so when it gets to size 20, we're not passing it in though. Because we don't know we are passing in beacon radius, but we don't know the max size of beacon radius. If we did know the max size of beacon radius,
great point.
Then we would go when beacon radius times 2 is greater than or whatever.
Yep. Keyboard, don't fail me now. Why you know love? Oh, right. They're not named parameters.
There we go.
Okay, still doesn't love. Thought it would love. Really thought we'd have love.
Full radius, max full radius.
Is this, did I put it in the widget space? Nope, it's in the state.
Is the wrong type?
What's your problem?
So
name parameter. Oh, I must just have a beacon and bubble. Beacon and bubble. Yeah, that's what I get. Let's call everything that says bubble beacon.
Oh, look at that for like fancy keyboard, multiple updating.
Except some of them are probably capitalized.
Probably gonna have to teach me how to do that. Well, you got your max beacon radius, yeah, your bubble radius.
I think I might have just made it worse. All right, well, let's talk about what the thing was and then not screwed up. So this is from Sublime Text. So that is how I learned about it. Anyway, Command D highlights the next token that is the same as whatever you currently have highlighted. And now you just have multiple cursors. But anyway, so we can't, I think we can't just grab every single instance of bubble. Please cursor, thank you. Because then you have all these cursors and you have to dismiss them before you try to do something normal. But we can't do every single one because some of them are capitalized.
Okay, so everything's becoming beacon.
Everything's becoming beacon.
Okay, so we're gonna do some quick refactoring.
Oh, so now we could do, just grab these things. Oh, why didn't you grab those letters? There we go. Nice.
Okay.
And then down here, our last one, bubble. Oh no, it's not the last one. There's so many more.
No.
But we can, what we needed to do last time was grab all the beacons. Did you call
everything beacon or bubble?
Am I going back in the wrong direction now? We're going beacon, right?
Yeah, we're going beacon because you went bubble there.
Oh, I made a good one bad. Classic me.
But
I'm always doing
also
that. Oh, this was underlined because it's an incomplete line of code, not because it was the wrong variable name. Okay, so if our beacon radius is less than the max beacon radius times 0.5, then our stroke width is just the max beacon radius or something. Actually, I guess it could be the beacon radius.
It would be wouldn't it be a function of the difference between beacon radius and the half of max beacon radius, so it gets bigger and smaller as we animate?
Well, if I'm tracking what you're saying, then my answer is yes, but for the other side of the ternary. Because this is the beginning half where we just want it to be filled.
Oh, okay. So, yep, I thought you were, okay. Yep.
And now we're to what you're onto. So once we get past 50%, then, so let's say we're at 60%, we want to very quickly start to catch up. So we could do maybe 1 minus the radius, because then we know that by the time the radius gets to 1,
that's true.
It'll
be 0.
Yeah. So our stroke width, so 1 in this instance stands for max beacon radius.
Yep, max beacon radius.
And then minus
the beacon
radius. Okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing what this looks like.
Nice. It looks like broken.
Less than was called on null.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Following no such method during paint.
Less than. So the weird thing is that boy do I not see a less than on this line, you know?
But there's a less than here. Widget the icons, is icons null at some point? No.
Is it? We're looking at the wrong line. It's right here. Less than max beacon radius. So it's because we changed state. Just,
there we go.
Don't even think about it.
Okay.
Just restart.
So.
Nothing. Nice. All right, so we've got our custom paint and we have our painter. Let's do some debug printing.
Well, I wonder, is the painter drawing?
Interesting.
Because it might be expanding off because our 0, I don't know where it's drawing.
I see what you're saying. Yes.
I mean, if we change our painter just to draw the circle with the max beacon size, we should be able to see what the final state looks like.
Yeah, that is. So let's initialize. Wait a minute. Also, we want to be doing this custom painter stuff only for the active index. That's a super important thing.
Yep.
Otherwise, we would have, so that we'll have to do another if active index, and I've lost track of actually where we have access to that. It's on widget equals I. then you get a beacon painter. Otherwise, you get nothing.
Good old empty container.
Yep.
Perfect.
And, oh, wow, so the painter accepts, interesting. Is it going to accept a container?
Actually, I think we're probably going to put your, we're going to.
Yeah, we might have to do a little bit more.
Yeah. We're going to run out of time.
We are going to run out of time.
Why don't we not worry about that for the moment and fix that later on?
Okay.
If we can just get the animation
Fair.
icon.
It'll animate on all of them.
Yeah.
And then we'll think about the rest. Okay, so our offset was a known probably problem. So let's like give it some other value and see. No, we're still getting no. Wait. No, we're getting nothing. The pulse of the actual button. Is there any chance that the icon button is concealing it?
No, because the painter is. See if you can just paint the whole thing. If you just draw a circle of
okay, so
size.
We'll comment out
because we have size here.
Yeah, oh, max paint. I see what you're saying.
So if
Do
beacon
max.
radius there, if we just ignore that and just do max beacon radius and see what happens. Okay.
It's painting. How certain are you that the icon button is not hiding it?
I am totally not certain.
Okay, let's rule that out real quick by making this a gesture detector and the child.
Cool.
And the color has to go here.
Child.
Wow, I screwed that up so nicely. So the color has to go here, and the on press just becomes on
tap.
Okay.
Oh, it centered it nicely.
Something got centered.
Well, the thing's the circle got centered a bit there.
Oh no, not the guilty party.
So beacon radius, we should probably check to see what's happening.
Yeah. So let's put that print that we almost did.
I wonder is the stroke causing an issue because it might be.
Yeah, let's print the stroke as well. It's entirely possible that this is wrong. Okay, so when we do a clicky clack,
we have a stroke with a
stroke
zero.
of 0. Really
And so it's
good.
only calling it twice. You'd expect that to repaint.
Yeah, would.
60 times a second.
For some amount of milliseconds. Okay, beacon radius is the max beacon radius times the curve value. This never printed.
Interesting.
That never printed.
Okay.
So, wait, this is right, I think.
Clearly you write print statements a lot. That's
Okay, yeah, it's different.
yeah, reloaded.
Yeah. So start animation. Oh my god! We did the thing!
We didn't.
We never started the animation! Hey! Wait, the stroke never shrunk then.
That's because we.
Oh, we...
Did we mess with the values here?
No, we didn't. But we are getting stroke width. It shrinks at 0.2, or it ends at 0.24. That actually sounds about... Oh, and then it just stays there. Oh, yeah.
Because
So
we painted over it. Yeah.
yeah, so we'll need to do another thing too, which is like if beacon radius equals max beacon radius, then just go home. So now we should at least get...
Okay. Okay.
Why it do?
Stroke width, stroke width.
Why did that kill everything? If beacon radius equals max beacon radius, we see all these print statements where they don't equal each other. But this seems to return because we're getting nothing. Well, it is also printing stroke width, so we're not getting nothing.
True, but it doesn't seem to be calling it very often.
Yeah.
I'd expect that to call it more with the animation running for 300 milliseconds.
Right. also, okay, let's see here. Okay, we have a lot of weirdness because we never did actually do this on only the active one. That's pretty unfortunate. We could also do a status listener here. No, this should. Basically, we could say if beacon radius equals max beacon radius, then actually beacon radius equals 0. There's probably a better way to do that. No, that didn't help even a little bit.
I'm just wondering because it seems to me like the add listener is getting, I mean, it's going to be called twice.
Is it only getting called twice? Let's see.
Because if you look at your beacon radius print,
we need to reinitialize the controller every time.
Do we?
Yeah, I think. I'm pretty sure. I think this is going to really help. I feel very good about this. Okay, we may now need to do some other things.
So what have you done there? Start animation.
Oh, look at it. Okay, there was something that's not right.
There. Okay. I saw something.
Yeah, it did the thing.
Layout render box needs repaint calculate blah 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 blah.
Okay, so let's go to the top and see, where did you actually decide you hate us? Oh, it's not single anymore because I made a new dealie. Fair. And this may suggest some sort of, I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, we need to fix that.
Oh, and then rebuild. We got the 2-minute signal quite a while ago.
We did.
Yeah,
we did. But
really overstaying our welcome.
Let's have a look here and see what happens. Okay.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
That is pretty.
It's pretty good.
I mean,
it's
not bad.
The stroke is not catching up.
The stroke's not catching up. It's a little on the big side, but
a little on the big side. Yeah. Oh, right. Radius. That's only half the circle. So our max radius, where did we say 40? That should be 20. That should definitely be 20. Way better. Now, the stroke width, we are really quite close. We see that the stroke settles down to 0. So I am not 100% sure why the circle's not getting thinner.
But if we're painting a circle, will it, I guess with the stroke width, yes, it should do.
Oh, wait.
Paint colors blue. Okay, you have the stroke width. Stroke width is...
Yeah. It is...
If the stroke width is 0, does it paint the whole thing?
Well, we would
fill?
see, I think, it catch up long before.
Yeah, it's always 0.
Oh, now we got our... So 20, too small. Well, we may have to admit defeat on the stroke width.
Okay, so where are we at? We have implemented a customized navbar, just using a row and a few icons. We've wired them all up so that we can navigate between our two screens.
Yep.
And we've started to wire in some cool animations. We've got to the point where the animations are working, and now they need to be tweaked to look kind of cool.
Yeah. We just need to probably have some time and like some peace and quiet to think about it, and then it'll be like, oh, well, we're doing the thing that's wrong. What do you think the odds are that the comments on this video are like, do the thing, no, type it there?
I think you're actually pretty much there. We just need to wire in a little bit of logic to stop one showing up, and we can sort out the stroke width. Yeah. Because I think it's just something to do with the way we're painting the circle. That being said, that's going to be in another show where maybe we just tackle doing some cool animation styling and getting this to a point where we're at. It wasn't bad for like 50, 55 odd minutes.
Yeah, we're still pretty far away from the inspiration. So yeah, to your point, once we even get the stroke width, we can kind of wire up the rest of the jazz and maybe it'll even look cool.
Cool. So hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll be back to our DashCast in the near future.
Yep. Y'all drive safe now, you hear?